Hello, welcome to another episode of I'm Kenyan. This is Wanjeri Daru. Today we have the pleasure of hosting Shiko Kihika, the Executive Director of Tribeless Youth, a non-governmental organization based in Nakuru County. Karibuni. Hi Shiko.
Hey Wanjeri, how
Sasa,
are you?
you're good?
Kabisa.
Bari ya Nakuru?
Nakuru salama kabisa.
All good?
Siasa tu.
Siasa lazima.
Yes.
Yeah, how was your trip down?
Amazing.
Good, eh?
Yeah.
Right, so tell us who you are.
So, my name is Shiko Kihika, but they call me Shiko Kihika. A young girl from the village, but with a city heart, I keep saying that. Very interested in politics, young people, mental health and creative work.
Okay.
Yeah.
So who is Tribeless Youth, the organization? What do you do,
So, Tribeless Youth is an organization for young people by young people. An organization that looks at changing the narrative of what basically civil society or civil organizations are by trying to design conversations and design projects depending on the needs of the people. We work with young people, young creatives especially. And the fun of it is trying to create, or rather trying to mimic what our politics is using art, because at the end of the day, art speaks to the heart and art sticks around for a long time. So that is basically what we do. We're interested in mental health, governance. We do a lot of activism, where we use art for activism. And at the end of the day, we are people who create new ways to communicate every day. Yeah.
In the political space, it's not easy to see young people who are not affiliated to political parties, standing out in their political work.
Yeah.
But you do that so well.
Because you have to choose a path. They say you can never sit in the fence. But I've realized that you can't have your opinion without necessarily having or picking a side. Why? Because I was raised in a circle where politics in Kenya is about who's the best goon. And then understanding that, then you realize a lot is lost in the middle of it, because we more or less focus on the shenanigans that are happening more than the actual struggles that are happening. So just being able to speak and consistently speak up about the issues that are affecting young people, for me, that is my comfort space, because that's what I'm experiencing every day. So yeah.
Yeah, we met in the civil society spaces, discussing issues that affect Kenya in general. And one thing that we have in common is that we use social media for advocacy.
Yeah.
Why social media for you?
That's the easiest, it's the easiest platform to actually reach out to so many people, which does not need you to know people and know donors to actually get the platform. But at the same time, I feel like we are getting to a space where Gen Z is quite active in these spaces. And they're the people who don't understand history, they're the people who don't care about politics, but the people who suffer more from the deaths and the bad politics of the day. So just being able to create conversations in these platforms in a way that they can relate, the way they can converse and try to understand, and also being able to teach them and learn from them at the same time. For me, that's one win. Also, we need to acknowledge that old methods of advocacy are not working anymore. So we must find new spaces and new ways of working as we move.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the voter card drive that was done by IBC and all that flopped.
Yep.
Big time.
It's by
Why do you
design
think?
though. It's by design. This was intentional, because if you remember in 2017, government machinery did the drive. Government used its money, its people to mobilize for voter registration. Isn't it quite interesting that this time the government is not even interested? That the government has literally even denied IBC money to do it. So it's by design, and this is a way of silencing voices from young people, because the new generation of voters that IBC was targeting will not vote their person, will not vote the person their parents are talking about, will vote the person who interests them. And that's why we see someone like Governor 001, with as much as we know there's nothing in between the ears. The young people like him. He's out there on TikTok dancing with them and doing all those things. So I look at that from an aspect of the government silencing young people and knowing that we knew that we would have 6 million new voters. That meant 6 million young people coming out and voting. And by them getting only 1.3,
I know.
then it means we're not even halfway, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's just a design to silence young people. Okay. And that's why they've done whatever they've done to IEBC.
Do you think maybe the way our politics is played in terms of, you know, what's the point of engaging if there's no change, created as, you know, an environment where that apathy also came out?
There's that, but there's also the interest of the government. We must acknowledge that we have two parties right now. We have the Azimio, and then we have the UDA. UDA have won the youth with the hustler narrative, with the unemployment narrative, which is a lie, because I've never seen a hustler who lands in choppers anyway. But then there's Azimio, which is more attractive to the older generation. The older generation have their votes already. The younger generation who are being lied to that your king or whoever is here, the savior of the jobless people is here, don't have the votes. And that could have been the target. So this is one, it's like a political strategy to kill a party, but at the same time, the apathy that we see every day, and I believe this conversation of, I'm not going to vote, it does not concern me, I'm not interested in politics, most of the time comes from young people. And the reason is, the politics of the day is not relatable to young people. We suffer, but we don't know that even the rent we pay is political. The moment we do not accept that and we do not understand that, then it becomes very hard for us to actually relate to the daily politics. Look at our mainstream media. How does it look like? Does it talk, or rather does it discuss politics in a human interest perspective? Or is it about who pays the piper at the end of the day? So when we lack that as young people, when we lack a conversation that is strictly geared towards our interests, then we have no role to play when it comes to the ballot and everything. And then we also live in a country where young people are only important when it's after 5 years, so yeah.
Yeah. So there was this hashtag running during the week, lower food prices. And a lot of it, because I went through it, it's young people who are pushing that narrative. Do you think there's going to come a time in this country where the young people and the people who are really struggling will connect their struggles to the politics of the day?
A time will come, but a time will come when our young people are more empowered and are not there begging for 500 bob on the online spaces. Because what happened is the hashtag, I think when it started, it was very well orchestrated. Whoever sponsored that one actually had an idea.
You believe it was sponsored?
I so believe it was, because it is unlike Kenya for hashtag to start on Facebook.
Exactly.
So we cannot be fooled on these streets, right? So, but you see the conversation and the question you ask is, how can we, the people who actually understand what is really happening, grab this opportunity? Because the conversation is already there, the numbers are already there. But how do we then trigger it for people to actually relate to it? This means by going beyond just the hashtag, the videos like you're doing, there's the graphics like people do, there's the art performances, there's graffiti. How do we build this as a very well-connected protest and turn it against whoever was sponsoring it? Because when a hashtag happens and then all of a sudden every MP, every senator, now the deputy president is also saying lower food prices, and I'm like, yo, we've missed the point, you know, we've really missed the point. And when an MP comes and tells you, oh, Jubilee government has failed, yet he's still being paid from the same government, are we not able to actually ask him, why are you still taking our taxes? Why are you not at home? And that's why, and I think I did a few tweets, and one of the tweets I did was, if really we want to do this, can we put out the numbers of the people we elected, call them and ask them to do it? Because then that way we'll be reaching out to the people who actually need to do it. Because these idiots, and I'm sorry to call them that, will
don't apologize.
We'll recall their sessions to go increase their salaries, pass whatever bill that is oppressive to the people, but we'll never sit down and ask themselves, what are we really doing to the people that we serve? You get? So when someone comes to you right now and promises young people 6,000 bob every month, in a country full of debts, in a country that 1,000 bob cannot buy you lunch and supper, What will 6,000 do to a young person? And then where are you getting the money from? You get. The other one comes and tells you, I've been in power for the last 9
years. They borrow from somewhere else other than China, so
wow.
Maybe they have a plan.
And then we can be auctioned by everyone at the end of the day. So, and then we have the other one coming to tell you how he's been in government for the last 9 years, 10 years, but now he has the opportunity to come for the next 5 years and make your lives better. That's really bullshit, honestly. So I just feel like we have so much. When you go to your Twitter every morning, we have 5 sponsored hashtags.
Yeah.
And amazingly is that even after the lower food prices hashtag, yesterday we were celebrating the president for speaking in Kikuyu. So the madness in this country leaves me asking, is it that every 5 years we dump our brains and then wait for after August 9 to collect them again and start complaining, or what do we do? So it's sad, but at the same time it shows how our politics controls our lives every day.
Okay. Yeah. So, something sensitive. You come from a very political family.
Yeah.
How do the family dynamics, play in the whole scheme of things?
I think it's interesting because, one, being a Kenyan and having a name Kihika, it's already tagged into some conversation politically. But let me not even go to the bigger family thing of family name or where Kihikas come from. But to even my family, my direct family, that's my mom and dad. My mother and father are typical Kikuyus. And we all know that Kikuyus are selfish politically. And they go where their people say. Funny enough, this is the only time I'm seeing them split, which is quite interesting, an interesting scene to see. But coming from that aspect and being their first daughter and being the one who is most vocal against the political injustices and everything, like to date, I keep reminding my dad, you people woke up at 3 a.m. to go vote for someone 3 times.
3 times.
And in the middle of the night, you people walked out to go celebrate, And then you're the people who are being oppressed more right now. So you look at that, and then from the side of politics that I stand, I've always been seen like the black sheep of the family. But it's good. It's a good thing, because I believe by them dubbing you the black sheep, then it gives you the leeway to get away with anything that you say. That's one
and
thing.
as you're saying, they're coming around
exactly.
now.
And the funny thing is that through this black sheep, now my mom is vying for a political seat.
Nice.
So, which is quite interesting. Though she's vying with a party I don't like and I can't support, but I just feel like
it's her choice.
Through my mouth, and by speaking out, I think she's actually, because I saw her organize a protest and the roads where they live was built. So for me, is the construction happened because of the people's action. She would not have done that if I was not criticizing what they were doing. So I see that, and I see the steps she's taking by just being politically aware. And being a woman, because I have a bias on women who are getting into politics, for me it's like, this is where charity begins at home. I see her wake up, I see her start to realize things. I am happy. Yeah.
Wow. It's a win.
Yep.
Even if it's one, so.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So, of course, as we look at the situation now, everything looks dire. The conversation is not involving the youth. The political conversation is not involving you people, because it's all about who is going to get what.
It's about who is who.
Though we did see from us and some of the campaigns we were doing against, for instance, the BBI, the youth were not boarding that train. So that was super
paying
cool.
them.
So, as much as it looks grim, I think maybe perhaps, don't you think it's going to get better? If this crop that we have now it's going to disappear very soon. I mean, some of them are desperate because this is their last chance.
It's their last,
all right,
the last bullet.
So does this give the youth,
the
hope and the space to, grow politically?
I don't want to be the buzz killer, but it's going to take us 15 years to realize that. Doesn't make sense, because they already have a strategy and it's not for 5 years.
Yeah.
The question is, by the time the 15 years are done, will we still be youth?
No.
Will we still be the same energetic people? Will we still have the same energy to run this country? No.
Yeah.
So we have to stop waiting for tomorrow.
Yeah.
We have to start taking the opportunities we have now. And the reason I'm saying that, and I'm really happy that there's a project we did in Kisumu, Laikipia, and Nakuru 2 years back. And in Kisumu, I know 3 young people from that same project who are vying. And for me, I'm happy. In Nakuru, I know 2. And then in Laikipia, I know 1, which I'm not sure if she will go through. But I just love the energy that is coming out in terms of young people saying, you know what, I can actually go out and vie. There's a joke that is made in my county where you say, if you stand in Kenyatta Avenue, Nakuru has only 1 avenue, by the way, Kenyatta Avenue, which is quite small. So if you stand in Kenyatta Avenue and throw a stone, it is most likely to hit an MCA aspirant because everyone is vying, right? But the brighter side of it is that we are changing the narrative of the politics from the county levels. Seeing more parties come up, this means seeing more young people having somewhere to hook themselves. But then for me is, are we able to actually make more young people understand the importance of participating in party politics? Because politics is not about the elections. It's about shaping the party politics dynamics. And I keep saying, when I retire from the youth work, let me call it that, I want to get very much active in the political party spaces. I don't want to be elected, but I want to go there and shape conversation in terms of where are the youth spaces? How do we create stronger youth leagues? How do we have youth leagues that care about their youth and not about the elders in the party?
Yeah. So what is Tribeless Youth planning to do this year?
Yay, big things. One, we're excited about launching our space, our creative space, the Ubuntu creative space. And unfortunately, our governor has decided to run away with our name and form an Ubuntu political party for whatever reason. But that does not stop us, because we know for some reason they'll die along the way. We're still here for the long run. But yeah, we're launching our creative space this year, which is one of the most amazing things. We've been engaging with young women aspirants, and we really want to tell their stories of where they go, and especially after nominations, we believe not everyone goes through, but where do these souls go? Do they remain politically active? Where do they go with this? After that, there are women who go to the main ballot. Do they remain politically active? What do they do? Where do they go? And especially the young women, because in the political scenes, if you've noticed, is that if a man wins or loses, they're still politically relevant. For women, we only talk about the key women who won. And we barely even talk about the nominated ones. So it's just bringing these voices to life and just allowing people to see that leadership does not even just mean being in the ballot. It goes beyond. There's also another interesting thing we're doing is recording and documenting political promises. Because we believe we cannot keep someone accountable if you have no evidence of what they promised you. So we want to give them the time to lie to us, and then we'll have
I love that.
and then we'll have our space to keep them accountable, and give them their scorecards. Yeah.
What your governor did, stealing your name, is not unique to him. I mean, politicians, look at our president. When he does his speeches, he uses words like human rights, dignity, right to life, you know.
And the funny thing is that it happens twice. And it's funny, it's because it's like someone listens. Because I remember there's a time we were having a conversation about a Kenya Kwanza conversation. There's even a Twitter account. And then the next day, these idiots are launching a Kenya Kwanza campaign. And I'm like, this is nonsense. But this is the thing. I think they have the money to waste. Let them feed young people. But I hope our young people can think with their brains before they go cast that vote. Because whatever conversation we're having around here is a conversation that is selfish to some few people. It's a conversation that is self-centered. It's a conversation that does not care about young people. It's a conversation that involves Uhuru Kenyatta, William Ruto, Raila Odinga. The rest are puppets. So we must start acknowledging that these are not our options. And we must start seeing alternative conversations. We must start thinking that when the president comes and says, oh, I've endorsed a presidential candidate, but I will choose who deputizes him. As who? Because you're supposed to be retiring, go home and rest like Kibaki and the others. You know, it is not your role to come and tell young people or the people of Kenya who they should vote. They know what their needs are. If you don't even know the cost of bread, how do you know what the needs of young people are?
Oh yeah,
So,
my
yeah.
God, that was just so amazing. He
Yeah.
was asked, and how much did he say it cost?
It's 500 bob, and then the next time he said 300 bob. So yeah, but you see, the bread price is quite increasing quite
Yeah,
fast.
yeah.
So probably he was telling us something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get ready for 500 bob for the
Exactly,
bread.
we are making the bread an elitist food. So just chill and wait. Yeah.
Anyway, Shiko, it's always a pleasure to spend time with you. Always.
Thank you.
Always. Lovely to have you, to pick your brain as a young person. I'm not youth anymore. I left that age group a long time ago. But I get excited when I see some of the things that you do, because a lot of the youth today are so focused on just surviving every day, that they do not realize that they need to take time to engage in the politics that make them do nothing else other than survive. You know?
Yeah. And it's unfortunate because I keep saying the salary you get paid, if you paid 20,000 or 100,000, it's political. So that's a conversation you must have, because this also reflects on the taxes you pay. That 20,000 can be a lot of money if the taxes were not quite high in this country. So it's about balancing the equation. The school you go to is political. That's why the government doesn't care about shutting down public universities. In the next 5 years, our kids might not have public universities to attend. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody cares about that. So it's political. Our health system is political. See what they're doing to NHIF. How do you force people to have NHIF cards, but you won't force yourselves to give us better facilities, better services when it comes to medical health? You launch a whole universal health conversation, universal healthcare, or whatever you're calling it. And then I hear now some people are coming with, I hear the Azimio team has Baba Care as a thing. And then I hear the UDA people have affordable what? And I'm here sitting and asking myself, you people never did this the entire time you've been there. The much you're forcing us is every young person between the age of 18 going up, all of them need to have an NHIF card. We all have them, but they don't help us. So tell us a different story. The reason why people go to private insurance is because it offers you better services and flexibility than NHIF does. NHIF, and I think Kenyans must understand that they pay that for the civil servants, not for themselves. Because those civil servants don't pay a dime, but they get the best services. From whose money? You've paid your NHIF, I've paid my NHIF for the last almost 10 years now. But I've never gone to hospital and used that card. So I don't know if right now I got admitted, it will serve me. Ama nitaambiwa inalipia kitanda, the rest you have to look for money. You get?
Likely, that is
exactly. So it's a conversation that we must have. And even when they're coming and giving now, they're about to table a Huduma bill or something with no public participation. And then you'll be forced to be carrying Huduma numbers like cows all over here. I just don't understand. Haven't we ever been liberated? Or are we not free yet? It's like telling me we're going back to the Moi era where Kipande used to be hanged on your neck. It doesn't make sense.
What's your feeling on the BBI?
It's nonsense. It's really nonsense because it's about the same people that I spoke about. I don't see the needs of the Kenyan people being addressed in that book, and we have to acknowledge that that document, whoever wrote it, decided categorically that youth were just a point to note, a special interest to note. Youth are not a special interest to note. You cannot be the majority and be the minority at the same time. You cannot be the majority and be a special interest group at the same time. We have to choose a struggle. And the struggle we must choose is fighting for our space. Yeah. And BBI is not our space, for that matter.
Trust me, it's not ours either.
It's not.
Thank you so much, Shiko.
Thank
for
you.
your time.
Thank you for having me.
Creating, the time to come and be with the I'm Kenyan team.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
We are excited about everything that you do. We love you and support you as always. You know that.
Thank you.
Yes, so asante sana for your time and everything.
Asante for having
and from
me.
The older generation learning from the younger generation.
No, thank you. Thank you for always being there for some of us. It's amazing.
Thank you so much for joining us in another conversation with the Kenyan team. This is for the youth. Politics is your business. Everything you go through, everything you're struggling with every day is connected to the politics of the day. So you better take charge of your destiny by getting involved in politics. Asante, kwaherini.